How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, make sure you go down and subscribe. I know I really haven't made too many videos on the channel, but we are just getting started. So today's video, we're going to be talking about the first cafe racer project that's going to be shown on this channel, one of many in the future. You guys have no idea what is sitting in this garage unless you're a super long time follower of my other channel, which is my car channel, where sometimes you see some of these bikes in the background, but very rarely, and some of those videos aren't even on the internet anymore. When we hit 1,000 subscribers, I will show you guys all the bikes in the collection. There are over 15 of them, so it's definitely going to be worth the wait. I know we're only at about like 30 subscribers right now. I appreciate everyone who is following this channel though, but when we do get to 1,000, I will show you guys all of the motorcycles that are currently in the collection. You've seen like probably 4 of them. You've seen the GB, you've seen the R90 Racer, you've seen the Buell, and you've seen the Honda 450. There's a couple more where that came from. Introducing another one of the bikes. This is a 1981 Yamaha Virago. This is a 750, and this is going to be turned into a cafe racer. And we're going to talk a little bit about this bike in the video. This bike has already been kind of started. We have some parts for it, and let's just talk a little bit more about what this is and what the future of this holds. So this is an 81 Virago, in 81 and a couple of other years. As you can see, it doesn't have a normal suspension setup. That is because it has a monoshock. The monoshock is something a lot of people who want to do cafe racer projects do. They end up swapping the shocks from the sides to the monoswap, and they have to go through a bunch of work in order to do what this bike already has done from the factory, have a monoshock. To give you an example of what a normal motorcycle would be, I've got the GB in front of me. So without showing the other bikes, this is the GB. As you can see, on each side, it has the suspension. Of course, in the Virago, it has a monoshock that sits in the middle. A monoshock conversion is very common when someone is doing a cafe racer. It gives a little bit more of that sportier look, having the shock in the middle, and it kind of just gives that look that everyone is kind of going for. Some people leave the suspension as it is, and I think those look very good as well, but this comes with it from factory, so it's a major bonus. But as I said, there's already some things that have already been done to this bike. As you can see, none of this is connected, and let me tell you why. So if we take this seat off real quick, you guys will automatically see that this rear subframe is completely removable. So with the Viragos like these, this rear subframe is completely removable. There's no cutting involved. There's just taking this out and putting a subframe in. So it's one of the easier cafe racer projects because there's no cutting involved. This subframe is already removed. So there's a couple bolts, there's a bolt here, there's a bolt here. I'm not gonna go super in detail with all the bikes of each individual bolt you have to take off, but I'll give you guys a very good outline of what is being done to the bike in order to get it to where it is. This rear subframe, this completely lifts off, so you take the wiring harness out. The wiring harness is sitting on the side over here, and this simply will lift out. It's a little awkward, but just like that, the rear subframe is off of the bike, and you can already see what the future of this bike kind of is going to look like. Normally, if you guys have already noticed, there would be a dual carb setup right here. This has gone from a dual carb to a monocarb setup already. This would be a really cool kit if it bolted up 100%. It's a little off, and we're kind of gonna have to make our own adjustments with that. It's not 100% plug and play, as nothing is supposed to be, but it's also a little off from what you would want from a kit. So this kit is a half decent, I guess, but it does have the monocarb kit, which makes it much more efficient. This is not wired up at all. We got to find a way to run the throttle cables. All of this is taken out, so this is the throttle cable for what's on it right now. All of this is taken apart. There's 2 throttle cables right now, one for the new setup and one for the old one. There's a bunch of stuff on this bike. We have 2 throttles set up. This, I believe, leads to nothing right now, and then this one right here is leading to that wire right there, which we got to make an adjustment for in order to kind of fit the monocarb conversion and make it work 100% correctly. There's going to be a subframe that kind of hangs over the bike, and all of that gets completely deleted. And of course, we're going to add taillights and indicators, so it's legal, but it's going to be a pretty cool project. Also, for the front end, this whole front end is going to be swapped. I already have a Suzuki Katana front end that is going to go on this bike, so it's going to be much lower and much more aggressive. We've owned this bike for probably about 10 years now. It kind of just sat as a project to be. It does run. It ran before we did the conversion, and we still got it to run with the conversion with the carb setup, but it does run and everything, so that's not gonna be a problem. Of course, the starters in these bikes are known failure items, and this bike is making that starter noise. From everything that I've been told and kind of the research that I've looked at, the bikes just kind of make that noise because something's missing from the factory. Not a big deal. It doesn't mean that they're failing or anything. It's just that it does that. So that's kind of the first cafe racer project that we're going to be doing on the channel. I'm just kind of introducing it in this video, and in future videos this bike will get on the table and we're going to take that front end off. We're going to put the Katana front end on. We're going to get a subframe and start kind of redoing all of this mess as well, and kind of sorting through where we want to put all of this. The wiring harness that used to go right over here. It's going to be one of many cafe racer builds. I'm not sure how deep I want to go into the build. Like I said, I don't want to go and explain every single nut and bolt taking out. It's going to be a little bit of a rougher outline, but still to the point where if you wanted to figure out what was done, I'm still going to be able to tell you what was done to it. I'm going to make sure I do my best job as I possibly can to explain this build as best as possible. Just wanted to take a second to kind of explain what was going down with this bike, because if you guys have never seen it, and what's hiding behind these garage doors, I guess. Well, I'll introduce that when we get to 1,000 subscribers. Other than that, that's all I have for this video. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.